There are certain foods you're eating every single week that are slowing down your fat loss. And once you understand how these foods actually behave in your body, things suddenly click and you start to realise, that's why I'm constantly hungry all the time. That's why I'm always snacking. And that's why nothing changes. And today I'm going to walk you through 7 types of foods that make fat loss harder. These foods are sabotaging how you look and how you feel on a daily basis. And just a few small shifts are going to change the game forever. But before we dive in, I just want to share a quick story because this sums up everything we're talking about today. One of my female clients on our one-to-one online coaching program messaged me the other day and she said, "Alex, I'm fine all day. Then the evening comes and it's like my brain is screaming for sugar." That was her exact wording, screaming. She'd grab biscuits, a couple of chocolate bars, sometimes go back for more, and she wasn't even hungry. It felt automatic, like a response to a feeling rather than a response to hunger. She thought it was a discipline issue, and it wasn't. The real issue was how the food she was eating earlier in the day were changing her state. Her meals were mostly low volume, low fibre, highly processed foods. Now, they're tasty foods, convenient foods, yes. Filling, not even close. So by the time the evening came, her brain was basically shouting, "Give me something, and give me something sweet." And sweet foods give you a fast dopamine hit and a quick sense of relief, but it doesn't last forever. So we changed a few things around. We replaced one earlier meal with higher satiety foods, more protein, more fibre, and more actual volume in her meals. And within a week, her evening cravings dropped by about 70%. She didn't suddenly become more disciplined. Her body just finally felt like it was getting what it needed. And that's why these food categories matter. They dictate your hunger, your cravings, and your overeating, which in a fat loss phase is really, really important. Before we get into them, I don't demonize foods at all. I believe there's space for all foods and a balanced diet. But most people are nowhere near balanced, and that's why they feel frustrated when they look in the mirror. If you struggle with food ideas, there's a link below this video with 100 high protein recipes for breakfast, lunches, dinners, and snacks, completely for free. So go and use it. Right, let's get into it. We're going 1 to 7 here in no particular order, but they are all playing a part in our diets on a daily basis. The first one we're going to look at is liquid calories. Now, liquid calories fly straight under the radar. Juices, smoothies, milky coffees, energy drinks, they're easy to drink and impossible for your hunger hormones to register properly. You drink 200 to 400 calories in seconds and your body doesn't even get that "I've eaten" feeling. It's like pouring fuel into a tank with a hole at the bottom. You still eat your normal meals, which means your calorie intake just creeps up higher than you think. Here's a few small swaps. Smoothies, we're going to swap for just whole fruit. Milky coffees, like lattes, we're going to swap for Americanos with a little dash of milk. Soft drinks, we're going to swap for a 0-calorie option. You instantly reduce calories without touching anything else. The next are the foods that are engineered to be addictive. Hyper-palatable foods are foods engineered to be extremely rewarding through the combination of ingredients like high levels of fat, sugar, sodium, and carbohydrates. Let's be honest, some foods are just too tasty for their own good. The ones where you say, all right, I'll just have a bit, and then suddenly the whole packet's gone. Crisps, burgers, pizzas, chocolate. The reason is simple. These foods fire up the reward part of your brain, so you're quickly going back for more. But the issue is your fullness signals never get a chance to turn up. So your brain simply can't keep up with what you're eating, so it's just not registering in time until you sit back and you realise, I've eaten far too much, and now you feel sick. In my opinion, these foods are fine in your diet as long as you have some level of control. Just don't build your whole day around them. I think it's one of the reasons my clients get such great results on our program and stay for 12 months plus, because you can't escape these foods on a day-to-day basis. So you build them into your diet and you won't feel like you're restricting yourself. This next one is where people get blindsided. Low fiber carbohydrates, white breads, crackers, pastries, basically anything that's refined. And when the fibre is stripped out, your body burns through it quickly. Blood sugar spikes, blood sugar drops, and suddenly you're hungry again, even if you've just eaten. Does that sound familiar? My client with the evening cravings, this was a huge part of it. Low satiety all day, high sugar cravings at night. If you just swap a couple of those meals out to higher fibre, higher volume options, you'll notice a massive difference immediately. Next, we have oils and spreads. This is the one people forget to track because they add up so quickly, and you just kind of pour a little bit of oil in, you don't even realise, but it makes a huge difference and adds up a lot. If you know the phrase death by 1,000 paper cuts, this is the nutrition version of that. It's the cooking oil you pour in freehand, the spread on your toast that you just eyeball, the sandwich with the sauce in it, a little bit of drizzle on top of the salad that's way more than a drizzle. These things aren't bad, they just add calories fast, and because they're so easy to pour on, you simply underestimate the amount you're having. When you measure just a teaspoon of oil once, you'll understand instantly. And that awareness alone on this one can save hundreds of calories a day. I think just like a pouring of oil will be like 100 to 200 calories. Next on the list, we have deep fried and ultra processed convenience foods. Crispy, salty, satisfying, and brutal for fat loss. Deep fried foods and ultra processed foods are high calorie, low volume, and they combine fat and carbs in a way that your brain absolutely loves. You can eat a lot and still want more. And this also applies to a lot of processed protein choices like sandwich meats and things. Fresh protein fills you up, processed protein satisfies you briefly and then leaves you feeling hungry again. Something as simple as swapping slices of ham for sliced chicken breast at lunchtime can completely change the game and fuel you for the rest of the day. Like just in a sandwich as an example. Homemade versions of air fryer versions of deep fried foods are so much easier and easier to manage, and you still get the enjoyment. I did a YouTube short quite recently where I made a homemade Raising Cane's chicken and the sauce, and it's so simple to make without it being deep fried. So you save a lot on the calories. Give it a go, it's on my YouTube shorts. This next one is becoming less popular for a lot of people, but it's still a staple within most people's week, and that's alcohol. And this really changes everything. Not just calories, it changes your appetite, sleep, stress, your decision making. If you've ever tracked your sleep after drinking alcohol, it's brutal. Most people don't gain fat from alcohol itself. They gain fat from what comes with the alcohol. The takeaways, the crisps, the chocolate, when you get home, the sloppy decisions the next day. You don't need to cut alcohol out completely. I don't get my clients to cut alcohol out at all. I just say, just be strategic. Instead, go for lighter options like a light beer or a gin and slimline tonic, or just have fewer drinks and make sure you go straight home after the night out instead of grabbing a kebab or a burger and chips on the way home. The seventh and final one that actually encompasses a lot of these, and it's the most common of things, is the middle of the supermarket. This is the easiest rule on the planet to follow. The further you walk into the supermarket, the more processed, low fibre, low satiety foods you'll find. Around the edges of the supermarket, you'll get your fruit, your veg, your protein, and that's the stuff that makes fat loss so much easier. If you build most of your day from the edges of the supermarket and use the middle aisles for the extras, not the foundation, it's going to make it so much easier. And this one shift alone will transform your hunger, your energy, and your ability to stay consistent, which of course is key if you want to achieve results. So let me reiterate this. You don't need to cut out any foods in particular. You just need to understand how they influence your hunger and your habits. Everyone's different, so you'll need to track your own habits for yourself. Some people love sweet stuff, some love savoury, Some say they just can't live without a beer or a wine at the end of a long day. And when you build 70 to 80% of your week around foods that keep you full, I promise you'll start to find fat loss so much easier, just like it did for my client. I'll often ask our clients in their weekly check-in to tell me how they found their hunger levels on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being hungry all the time, 10 being I feel full and satisfied, and most of the time they're at least number 7 or above, which I think is great considering they're in a calorie deficit for most of the time. The reason for that is because I'm talking about this stuff all the time, so it's nailed into their brain. Let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful, and please subscribe to my channel and make sure you like it as well. If you want real help from a coach that understands and has achieved hundreds of life-changing transformations, click the link below to speak with me about our one-to-one online coaching program. Your whole life could look completely different in the next 90 days. If you've tried before, but you always struggle to lose your belly fat, there are 3 stages to it, and I explain exactly what they are in this next video, which you can watch here.